Are you prepared for what could be the worst winter storm of the season, packing a 1-2 punch of heavy snow and crippling ice? Even Concord could be buried under more than a foot of snow if these intense bands settle in. You can expect at least another widespread 2 to 4 inches of snow there. But I think it's very realistic to expect closer to 3 to 6 inches, and maybe even 4 to 8 inches for parts of Indiana and western and northern Ohio. So if you've been waiting for a good old-fashioned snowfall, you might just get your wish. Now, what about folks further south? If you're near Nashville, for instance, I don't see much snow in your future. You might see a few flurries on the tail end of the storm early Tuesday morning, but there's almost no chance of any real measurable snow sticking in Tennessee. Now, don't miss this next part, because things change when we look at the Northeast, the eastern Ohio Valley, and through the Mid-Atlantic. Now, for most storms, snow is the biggest headache. The snowfall numbers we're talking about here are much, much bigger. And here's a little twist for you. One area where the forecast is getting snowier compared to yesterday is Pennsylvania, New York, and even into New England, where we'll likely see at least 4 to 8 inches. And believe me, it's certainly on the table that some isolated spots could get buried under 10 to 12 inches of snow, especially if some of those heavy snow bands line up perfectly. That's a real possibility for southern Vermont and also near Lake Erie, where there's another concern. We could see a lake effect snow event right on top of this storm's snowfall. It's looking more and more likely that we will have some areas with very heavy snow. But let me repeat the general forecast. But what if I told you this storm is hiding a far more dangerous threat? Something you might not even see. Expect a widespread 3 to 7 inches of snow, and there will absolutely be some towns that end up in the 6 to 10 inch range. Let's talk about the details. Some places could see over 10 inches of snow. No doubt about it, a real classic winter storm to start the season in the Northeast. But the snow isn't what worries me most. There's a hidden danger we have to discuss, and that's ice. Now, this is not going to be a massive, crippling ice storm. But is there a risk? Yes, there's a very real risk today and into early tomorrow for ice in parts of Arkansas and southern Missouri. That threat extends to eastern Oklahoma, western Tennessee, and right on into Kentucky. Now, it won't be coating every single surface, but there will be more than enough to make any untreated road slick as a skating rink. We're talking about widespread freezing rain, a serious possibility for folks in Arkansas. Frankly, I'm concerned we're going to hear about accidents today in Arkansas because of this sneaky ice. So please, if you have any plans to travel in the next 24 to 48 hours, listen closely. You absolutely must take it slow out there. This is critical in Arkansas, and really, anywhere you see this pink shading on our map is a major warning zone. And keep this in mind. Ice can still form even outside of these colored areas. Now, for most of you, we are not talking about a thick, heavy 1/10 of an inch of ice. This is closer to about 1/20th of an inch. It might not sound like much, but here's the surprising fact. All it takes is a simple glaze of ice. We're talking less than 1/100th of an inch to make roads incredibly dangerous. And that is exactly what could happen on untreated roads throughout the Ozarks. This threat extends to Kentucky, West Virginia, and even the mountains of the Carolinas. Now, shifting our focus to the East Coast, the situation there could be even more significant. This is not a major ice storm for them either by any means. But we do expect to see several locations pick up, close to 1/10 of an inch of ice from freezing rain right through the Appalachian Mountains. And that's not all. Eastern Kentucky could also see some ice building up, possibly as much as 1/20th of an inch. The takeaway here is that with this much ice, we could be looking at scattered power outages. The highest risk for that is in the Appalachian Mountains. And difficult travel is a sure thing, so please, I have to say it again, stay safe out there for the next 48 hours. So what happens after this storm finally moves out? You know that even a thin, invisible glaze of ice can make roads and sidewalks dangerously slick. We're already tracking more trouble for later this week, though Wednesday isn't looking like a big snow day. Don't miss the next part where we'll reveal what comes next. But a bit of light snow will be dusting the upper Midwest and the Rockies. But the real story we need to watch is developing in the Gulf Coast this Thursday and Friday. What could this mean for you? This new storm system will start to take shape over the southern plains late on Thursday, bringing not just heavy rain, but also the threat of some isolated severe storms, all happening right under a dome of high pressure building across the Midwest. And then, as we look toward late Friday and into Saturday, things really start to change. That's when a more serious threat of strong isolated storms could pop up right along the Gulf Coast. And here's a twist. We might even see some freezing rain and snow as far south as North Carolina and Virginia. But here's the twist. Some areas could see 1/10 of an inch of ice or even more. And perhaps another round for the mid-Mississippi Valley on Friday. This is something you'll want to watch closely. And then by Saturday and Sunday, the pattern shifts again. As we head into next weekend, that's when we could see another big shot of snow moving across the Midwest. We're talking about a potential 3 to 6 inches of snow from that system. And looking even further ahead into the following week, now this is still a ways out, but our computer models are hinting that mid-December could be incredibly active all across the United States. We could have a couple of major storm systems on our hands. But what will decide it? A lot depends on what happens in the Pacific Ocean over the next 7 days. If a strong, quote, atmospheric river event develops in the Pacific Northwest, is that a lot? It's more than enough to snap tree limbs and trigger power outages that could last for days. We could see something very similar to what we saw over the last 7 days with those 2 different winter storms. You'll remember one hit the Midwest and the other tracked right through the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, and the Northeast. And don't forget, meteorological winter officially began today. This means we are entering what looks to be a very busy weather pattern. In fact, we haven't had a start to December this active in quite a few years. I honestly can't remember the last time we were tracking multiple snow events during the first couple of weeks of December. The last few years have been fairly quiet and mild by comparison. So this is a big change to our weather across the country. And speaking of changes, here's a quick reminder. Today is the absolute last day for our Black Friday sale over at shopmaxvelocity.net. So how do you prepare for this? You can still get $5 off on any order of $50 or more. And for those of you who love my cat, we've just launched our brand new cheese card collection. You'll also find our popular Happy Holidays items, the Supercell collection, and many other wonderful things. Picking up a little something is truly one of the best ways to support the work we do here on the channel. If you'd like to browse, just click the very first link in the description right below this video. Now, we're already working on the next video for you, and it should be ready tomorrow. Don't miss the next part because we have a story I think you're going to find fascinating. In this forecast, we'll give you the step-by-step breakdown you need for this major storm that's going to affect millions of Americans. The most critical timing details are coming up in just 1 minute. A powerful storm system is gaining strength in the heartland, and it's on a collision course with the East Coast. Now, before we pinpoint exactly when this storm will hit your area, I need to mention something. You might notice my surroundings look a little different today, and you'd be right. Would you believe I'm on a cruise ship right now in the middle of the Caribbean Sea? I am on vacation for the next 7 days, but a storm this serious can't wait, and I promise to deliver any urgent weather updates you need. And this is an update you absolutely have to see as a dangerous winter storm takes aim at the United States. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into what's happening this morning. The first signs are already here. We're seeing moderate snow across parts of Kansas and that tricky freezing rain in Oklahoma. Now that mix is pushing into northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri, and it's starting to pick up steam. This is our number one concern as we head through the morning and into the early afternoon. But what exactly is it bringing with it? Don't miss this next part. We're going to see this very light, almost invisible area of freezing rain begin to expand. A troubling line of drizzle and rain is stretching all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, clear back to Joplin, Missouri. Now, what does this mean for your safety? It means even a tiny bit of freezing rain on the roads will make them incredibly slick, especially the ones that haven't been treated. And to be honest, I'm quite concerned we're going to see a lot of those icy spots throughout the day today in Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, and all across southern Missouri. But things are about to change. As we head toward lunchtime, a new threat emerges as the snow area gets much bigger, from central Kansas to western Illinois. At the same time, that dangerous freezing rain is going to continue, posing a significant risk for folks in northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. And then a whole lot of heavy rain will be falling further south, down toward the Gulf Coast. A dangerous wintry mix that will stretch from Kansas all the way up to Maine. So you won't see any of this wintry mess in Louisiana, Mississippi, or Texas. But don't get too comfortable, because by late afternoon, that area of snow is going to get even larger. Why is this happening? It's because two completely different weather systems are on a collision course. We have one storm pushing over the Rockies and a second one pulling moisture straight from the Gulf. When these two giants meet, all that moisture will combine into one big storm system late Monday night into early Tuesday. And what does that mean for you? It means the snow isn't just spreading out. It's not just going to cover more states. It's also going to start coming down much, much harder. So you'll want to pay close attention to this next part. We're going to face very heavy snowfall as we get into Monday evening across Illinois and even over near Indianapolis. But what about that slick, freezing drizzle? A massive part of the country, starting in the Central Plains, is about to get covered in a thick blanket of snow. It's going to remain a serious problem in far western Kentucky, in towns like Mayfield, as well as southeast Missouri and northeastern Arkansas. Now, for those near Jonesboro, you could see a short but dangerous period of freezing rain. This means ice building up on untreated roads is a very real possibility, especially as we head into the overnight hours from Monday to Tuesday, and that's when the snow will get even bigger. You'll notice much darker shades of blue popping up all across the Ohio Valley on the weather maps. That's our signal for much heavier snow, and it tells us the snowfall will be piling up at a rate of 2 to 3 inches an hour. This is shaping up to be a very intense winter storm. But I do have some good news for everyone who is tired of dealing with the snow. This storm is moving incredibly fast. This will spread all the way through New England, where many towns are looking at 3 to 7 inches of accumulation. So for most of you, the worst will only last about 4 to 6 hours. But that snow is going to be heavy and wet, so be ready for what comes next. Which means the snow won't pile up on the ground too quickly. But it will certainly add to the snow we've already gotten in the last couple of days. Many of you saw snowfall amounts that broke records for the month of November. That includes everyone near Fort Wayne, Indiana, and also back in central Illinois near Springfield and St. Louis. But what happens overnight? That's when we'll see some freezing rain moving across parts of Kentucky, southern Ohio, and even over to the west of Nashville. Now, it's going to be very light, but it could be just enough to make the roads dangerously slick. This isn't going to be a major ice storm that takes down power lines. But the real story, the part you absolutely need to pay attention to, is a narrow bullseye for incredibly heavy snow, because this whole system is moving so fast. But here's the part that really becomes dangerous. What's hiding on the backside of this storm? You have the freezing rain, and then right behind it comes moderate to heavy snow. That combination could create black ice for the Tuesday morning commute. And on top of that, you could have new snow piling up right on the roads. So for some folks, it's a double threat. A thin, invisible layer of ice covered by fresh snow. This is the kind of thing that can cause school delays or cancellations Tuesday morning. All of that heavy snow then pushes into the Northeast on Tuesday morning. We're talking right around 7 o'clock in the morning. Snow will be covering all of Pennsylvania and New York and starting to move into New England. This snow corridor from the Great Lakes to the Northeast could see double-digit totals, a truly shocking amount. And then, as we get into the afternoon hours, the situation changes again.
We'll see some very heavy snow bands over parts of New York, especially near Albany.
And even for folks near Worcester, Massachusetts, you can expect moderate to heavy snow. You folks right there will be on that messy dividing line between rain and snow. Now, for New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont, your story is a bit different. You're getting a fast-moving nor'easter during the day on Tuesday. But by Tuesday evening, most of that snow will be winding down. It will, however, keep snowing across Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont all the way through about midnight. But if you're anywhere else in the Northeast, the snow will be pretty much over by the evening. It's a very quick-moving nor'easter. We're talking about places like Erie, Albany, and Worcester. But don't let that speed fool you. It is still going to cause some big problems. So, exactly how much snow and ice will this winter storm bring over the next couple of days? Let's start by looking at the snowfall right in the heartland, across the Central Plains and the Midwest. For most of you, we're looking at a widespread 2 to 4 inches of new snow. Now, some parts of central Kansas might get a little surprise, with a few spots getting close to 5 inches. But the good news is this storm is moving through fairly quickly. We aren't looking at a major crippling storm for Missouri, Kansas, or Western Illinois. But listen up. If you're in Illinois, Indiana, or Ohio, it's a different story. A lot of this new snow is just going to pile right on top of what's already on the ground.